Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to No Shadé with Odie and
Dev, where we bring the it factor. We have the eye for fashion and we spill all the tea, honey.
we are both queer people of color, and we're here to discuss some topics
That may or may not offend you, but probably will.
So check your privilege at the door, sis, and let's get into it!
Hello, welcome back to episode 4. If you have not checked out any of the other episodes, make sure to catch up on all the tea that we spill on the podcast.
Period.
And a lot of the topics we talk about spill over to the next little episode we do, so make sure to check it out on all podcast platforms and on my YouTube channel, the Div channel, and make sure to check us out on Instagram at the Div channel, making it easy, and at IamOdie__.
Period.
And so today we're gonna do a little bit of wine tasting.
Yeah, something different. We created a little bit of different ambiance for everybody,
Yep.
and we just wanted to give ourselves a little vineyard in Manitoba. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're gonna describe kind of like these wines that we both got. We both picked 2, and so I got 19 Crimes, which is a red wine aged for 30 days in rum bottles. Okay.
Did you memorize that?
Period. Rum bottles. Like, are you crazy? Red wine. And we also got a Masai Masicano, something like that. Pinot Grigio. So those are the 2 that I picked.
And then there's a Sterling Vineyards rosé. I love a good rosé moment. And then we finally had this Wolf Blaze Blast, I don't know how to say it, Chardonnay. So as we go through our little topic of the day, we're going to be sipping our wine. So,
some snacks too.
It's going to get a little juicier as we go more into the topic.
Yes, honey.
The alcohol's going to hit. I have not eaten. That's why we have these little cheese breads, because I was like, I cannot drink all this wine on an empty stomach. On camera.
Period. No, that'll be mess.
Yeah, and also my heat is out, so we have a bunch of heaters around us. And if you see me at any moment move, it's because it's really hot and I'm moving the heater, so don't mind me.
No, period. And it's one of the coldest days, weekends in Winnipeg. And if you watch the previous video, you'll understand what our take is on the weather here. But click on the other video.
The previous.
But I guess, should we introduce the topic?
Yeah, what are we talking about? Tell us what we're talking about.
So we're talking about, are you ready? Because I know y'all have been waiting for it, honey. We're talking about gay sex.
I cannot wait.
Child.
So you tell them what we're going to cover while I'm going to open our first little wine.
Perfect.
Let's start this way and go that way.
Absolutely.
Or do you want... Yeah, let's do
We can
that.
even go in. You open one, I open one.
Oh,
Keep it
I
cute.
don't realize what to do with the mic. Okay, anyways, go.
No, but while I'm talking, you can just put it down,
Yes.
no? Okay, yeah. So anyways, basically we're going to be talking about, we're going to cover a bunch of different stuff. So we're going to go through the terminology because we thought that everybody might want a little bit of some education just based off of terms we're going to be throwing around through this episode just to get everybody caught up to speed. So, not when we're talking our mess, everybody's like, what are they talking about? What are they referring to? We're also going to talk about dating and hookup culture because, we have a lot of people that ask us questions. I don't know why. I guess they think we're, whores or something. But anyways, then we're going to talk about Grindr. If you don't know what it is, you're finna know today. We're going to talk about beauty standards and double standards. And we're definitely going to be talking about fetish. I can never say this goddamn word. Fetishizing and kinks. So y'all ready?
Without further ado, let's start with the terminology. So basically, I think I'll just start off by defining a top and a bottom. A top, a bottom, a verse. There are many, but just for simplicity for our heteros out there, because we know how complicated this could be. So a top is, as you guessed, somebody on top, so they are giving. And a bottom is on bottom, and they are receiving the package, if that makes sense. And then a verse dabbles both ways. So they do both. They don't really have a preference. They usually, like both. And then there's a side who I believe, if I'm not wrong, is somebody who prefers mostly oral. Oh wait, sorry, just a disclaimer, we're gonna be talking about a lot of sex. So
if you don't like it, I guess now's the time to click off, sweetheart.
So let me, before this is just a quick disclaimer. But yeah, I think I caught, those are like the basics, and then let's cover the
So we're gonna get
types.
into the types, and here's the thing. So we're gonna, because we don't want to get flagged, we don't want to none of that. So we're changing up some terminology, like we said. So instead of talking about inches, if
male
you know what I'm talking
genitals.
about, thank you. We're gonna refer to that as the. I don't want to butcher it. Can you say it for me?
The phallus.
The phallus. And here's a pro tip. We're saying a lot of things today, so if you need to take a moment to Google, just pause the screen, take some time in Google. We definitely condone that. And then when we're talking about the female genitalia, we're going to be talking about that will be referred to as the honey pot or cookie. So, that being said, I feel like that's all the terminology.
And wait, if you guys have better terminology, please do let us know, because this is not going to be the first or the last time that we'll be talking about genitalia on this podcast, and that's a promise. So I guess next is defining.
Sorry, side note.
I didn't like it. It was a little bitter for me.
It's a little bitter, but
Still sponsor us. I could sell it.
for a Pinot?
It's a Chardonnay.
Or for Chardonnay? Okay, that explains it. Because I was like, okay, for a Chardonnay.
The first sip, I guess also because I just brushed my teeth right before this. So I think I had still that like fresh breath taste. So
What would you pair this with?
Cheese.
Okay, work. I feel like this would be paired proper with cheese then.
I know, we didn't think of that, but
That's okay, there's cheesy
anyways, the other types of gays, so we have...
Oh, yes.
This more so pertains to body types, which is... I don't know how I feel about actually saying that out loud now. Anyways, so there's jocks, which are pretty much muscular men. There are twinks, who are more skinny, petite, smaller boned, thin.
Yeah.
And then we have bears, which is like the terminology. Like I describe bears as like big teddy bears that you just want to hug.
Yeah, and hairy.
Yeah.
Usually hairy.
And then there's otters, which are I guess like
That's like really, really hairy and small,
I feel like
right?
a jock that's hairy is a otter.
Okay.
A jock and a twink that's hairy is an
Yeah.
otter.
Yeah. Mhm,
Right? And then what else is there? Oh, we have twunk. A twunk, which is like a hunky twink. And I think that's most of them.
There's also bad bitches, which is the
Period.
category that we fall under.
Period.
Some do as well, but yeah, that's just another disclaimer I would like to add in there.
Wait, did I miss any though? I think those are the main ones. I'm sure there's so many more, but these are the main ones. Again, we're just trying to give people basic terminology because we like to educate. And so now that you guys are all up to speed, I'm sorry for my queer community that had to sit through all those definitions because we already know you guys are woke and know everything. Yeah, let's get into more juicier topics.
Let's get into it. Let's talk. We're gonna slide right in. No pun intended. But I feel like we should talk about. I feel like we should talk about dating and hookup culture, because both Div and I have obviously straight friends, right? And they always are asking us, like, how is the hookup culture? How is the dating scene? Like, how does that work? And every time that we kind of disclose that information, it's always the same reaction, which is like, oh my God, like, you guys have a lot of sex. Like, oh my God, that's so wild. And I mean, like, again, I just feel like personally, as gay people, you know, obviously we've been, we've been shunned and basically like secluded to the point where it's like we have to hide or we
can't be ourselves.
Not the mic, sorry, hold on. We gotta hide exactly or we can't be ourselves. So it's definitely, I feel like, a way of self-expression. But at the same time, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like most men are very hypersexual, and when you pair that with two men together, I think we already see you know what I mean? We see the problem figuring itself out, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's your take on it?
And I think that, like, with queer folks, gay men especially, so I guess I'm just gonna keep referring to gay men because I am gay, so that's why I keep referring. I'm not meaning to not include anyone. That's not the purpose. So I think that, like, in gay culture, it's just like with hookup culture and sex, it's just so common, and I feel like part of it might stem from the fact that we had to suppress ourselves growing up, and we didn't see it on TV. It was always this really bad thing, and now we get to an age where we can express ourselves and we want to express ourselves, and it's just like, you know, we're just gonna, you know, just fuck anything that moves, and that's okay. And like I always say, having a whole phase builds character, and I feel like everybody needs to go through it so you know what you want. You know what's out there, you know, you get to learn. It's a great learning experience. And I feel like the reason that we talk about sex so openly is because we're just so desensitized to it. Like, whenever we hang out with, like, gay people, like, I feel like we do talk about sex a lot, but, like, it's never, like, that serious. Like, I feel like we're always joking around. Like, it's just, like, I don't know, so normalized in the community. But then sometimes with straight people, I don't feel this more so with my friends, but, like, let's say I'm at a party or something and I'm talking to, like, straight people I don't know, I feel like, and especially ones that have not encountered, like, gay people before, they're just like, what? Yeah. You have this much sex? Like, what? Because I feel like there's such a stigma on sex, and we talked about this in one of the other episodes, and I feel like they hold back. Yeah, the first episode. People hold back because there's such a huge stigma on sex, and I mean, everybody has their own reasons. However, I feel like obviously with gay culture, we just enjoy having sex. And you gonna pour that one?
Next one.
I need to finish this.
That's my cue to finish. Period.
But another thing I wanted to point out, in, like, gay hookup culture is, obviously, for the most part, consent is there. It's pretty well known. Obviously, there's cases where there's not. But I feel like gay people, in that sense, are pretty woke and will, you know, stand up for each other when the time comes. So, I don't know. I just feel like, just, you know, do what you want. And if people want to have sex, great. And if people don't, then don't. And another thing I've noticed, and I've heard this from other gays, is I hate when they will shun or, like, you know, sort of, like, kind of talk shit about someone else for being so hypersexual.
Right.
And one, it makes no sense. And I'm looking at the camera because if you're gay, you know we all hook up with each other. So that absolutely makes no sense. Two, you're also on Grindr, seeing these people on Grindr, right? So there's that. No, it just pisses me off because they always want, just say you're not getting laid. Just say it. It always bothers me. Because I've heard, like, people say, like, oh, like, that guy's always on a hookup app, or that guy's always hooking up with everyone, and what?
But whose business is it?
And what? And fucking what? Just say he won't hook up with you. Just say you're mad.
But see, this is the thing that
I don't get it.
Like, that's the problem. Like, I have a problem when and we're gonna talk about queer culture, but this ties into it. A lot of people have an issue when if you're not about them like that, and you're on a gay app and they see you on there, or queer app, sorry, and they have an issue with that, we like to talk. As a queer community, we like to talk. So a lot of people have problems, and then they start going around, No, like, if somebody doesn't want to be with you in that way, in an intimate type of way, then just keep it pushing. Like, I don't know what else there is to say. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not that deep.
Yeah, and I feel like, with like hookup culture, it does get very toxic in the gay community. I feel like there's a certain beauty standard that's always pushed, which we will get more into. I'm not gonna dive right into that right now.
This is proper.
Right? It's so good.
This is proper.
Holy,
Wow.
I'm so happy. I'm kind of mad that I've never had it before.
That's the tea. That's a really good red wine.
But
Oh my god.
what I was saying with like people on hookup apps, like I feel like sometimes people take it to heart, and I was like this when like I was back in first year of like really first exploring and going on Grindr and all these other hookup apps. I did feel some type of way when somebody wouldn't want to hook up with me or wasn't attracted to me, and it took me a while to get to a place where I'm like, it's not it's not an attack on me. Mm-hmm. It's just like they're not into it. Maybe they want to be my friends, because I've been in the position where I've genuinely wanted to be someone's friend, but they just want to hook up. And they might take it personally when I don't want to hook up with them. So I feel like with that, I think to grow as a community, people need to really take it with a grain of salt. Like,
Right.
if somebody's not really into you, just move on.
Period.
There's so many men.
No.
You will find somebody, I promise. Literally. Like, you will always find somebody. And that's the case in life. Like, you will always find someone better.
Oh, and not only will you find someone better, this is the other thing about queer culture. And again, we'll come to it in another episode, but it ties in. When it comes to doing what you need to do in the sheets, 9 out of 10 times, that person has probably already been with somebody that you're close to when it comes to the queer community. So, in our world, I personally don't really think there's something called a sloppy second. But regardless, it's one of those moments where it's just like we've all been together with somebody that's been with somebody. You know what I mean? So it gets to the point where it's like you just keep doing the same thing or person.
I need to ring that.
The shame. But yeah, no, I think that is a great segue into what the next topic is, which is Grindr. Girl, do we have a lot to say? Let me start off with this.
Or I feel like any gay hookup site. We're just saying Grindr because that, I feel like, is the most used platform, and that everyone knows of.
Because there's Scruff. Tinder could actually be a queer dating app as well, depending on how you set your preferences or, what you want to do or comfortable with. But there's Scruff, there's Grindr, there's Tinder, there's Omegle.
I've seen
Christian Mingle.
Recently, I can't remember which one, but it's like an Indian dating app
For queer people.
No, not for queer, but it's for straight people. But now they have queer option too. I don't know now or for like they've been having it.
And it's an
but
Indian
there's
dating
not.
now.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of them have a queer option too. Like not just Indian, like other cultures as well. I want to say it's either Dilmil or I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Do not quote me on that.
We'll figure it out.
But there is an app. But there's so many is the point. But Grindr is the most common used.
Commonly
It's hella
used.
toxic.
Girl, let me tell you something. I'll give a little story time for the first time I use Grindr, which is again definitely the tea for everybody. Probably you've been through this. Oh my god, I don't want to disclose that information, but at this time, I messaged somebody. They sent me a picture that I believed was them. When Shadé rolled up to the door, they were over the age. You know what? No. When Shadé rolled up to the door, they definitely had a senior citizen bus pass. When Shadé rolled up to the door, they could get the breakfast for free at Perkins. Okay. Seriously, and I was traumatized. I was like, oh hell no, this ain't it, sweetheart, this is not what you want. This is not what we want. So from that moment I learned that this app is really something you need to be careful with. I think that goes to say for all dating apps, it's definitely something you need to be careful with, but
definitely.
I feel like, again, with gay sex, a lot of older men, this is no shade, no Shadé, but a lot of these older men definitely thrive and fiend over younger people. And I'm not saying that in a predatory way at all. Not like that. I'm just saying it gets to the point where...
That's an interesting conversation.
Like, I guess we could even go into that. How do you feel about people sending fake pictures?
No, okay, obviously, I hate the fake pictures. I've had people use my pictures, and this person knows who they are.
Somebody used your photos?
Multiple times, but somebody said somebody once... Somebody, everybody knows who it is, sent somebody to my place to hook up with me. And I was double cheeked up with my boyfriend. And I'm like, what is going on?
Wait, hold on.
Sorry. They sent them to my house.
So you mean to tell me...
Sent them to my house.
Someone impersonated you.
Yeah, and sent them to my house.
And sent them to your house while you were there with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And my friends, we were all about to go out.
Oh, my God.
So in that sense, I don't agree with it. But when you were saying, like, the older men and being more attracted to younger men, I feel like, yes, that is true, but also, like, I like to think about why. And I feel like, and this is going to go into the beauty standard part, but, like, I feel like that's the image that is pushed out is, like, the daddy and the son, which is okay. But I feel like it's so heavily pushed, and not even just in gay culture, even in straight culture, like, they're always, like, the little schoolgirl, they strive to have women that are, I don't know if I'm gonna explain this right, however, they say, like, so, like, how straight men sort of fetishize, like, younger features on a woman, so, like, no hair, a tight cookie. Like, a virgin, and they really fetishize those attributes. Have you never heard of this?
No, but that's weird to me.
Yeah, no, but it's, like, so normalized.
Why?
It's normalized in porn.
Oh,
straight men are like, oh, that girl's so loose, or that guy's so, like, and even in gay culture, like, we see it on porn. I see it the most with the daddy son. It's the image that's, and again, we're not kink shaming at all.
No,
not at all.
We're not here for that.
But I'm just saying that's the image that is portrayed from media. So I was really, like, intrigued when you said that, because I feel like people act with what they're given, like the environment that they're in.
That's
that's
fair.
what they see. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, I definitely support that, and I definitely feel like the stereotypes and I feel like the images that are out there are very much like, and again, even in gay culture, especially on these apps, it's very like macho man. That's what people are going for. The buff, the chiseled abs, the white skin.
Oh, I was like, so are we going into this now?
We'll get into it. I know everybody doesn't, it's not about race and this, but again, I like to look at both sides of the puzzle. So, for example, I can understand why somebody that is Caucasian could say, well, it's not always about race. That is a fair statement.
It's never been about race for them.
But this is what I'm saying. It's a fair statement coming from somebody that has never experienced being a minority. That's a fair statement. However, what I don't agree with is when somebody that's a minority is saying, hey, you are the beauty standard. Like, nobody comes checking for us on these apps like that, and then you sit there delusional like, what are you talking about? That's where I have a problem, because it's like, no. Someone is gonna quicker, and I don't need to pull up Stats Canada, right? It is a fact that somebody is gonna click on a white person's profile over my profile. It's the same way that somebody's gonna click on, I don't know, anyways, another podcast in the city with with two people, white, anyways, but they're not gonna click on this podcast because we're what? Colored. It's the same thing. It's not even it's no shade, but you'll click if two other people that are white in the same city post a podcast that are queer, but we post a podcast before two other white people and we don't get the same views. What does that tell you? Mm-hmm. Do I need to talk any more facts?
No, you see it all
and it's not
time.
the alcohol, it's just facts.
Yep.
It's the same thing. We can equate that to queer sex. Someone's gonna quicker click on a white person's profile than my profile. That is just factual.
Yeah.
It's the same way how someone that is white will get a job quicker than someone that is black.
Yeah.
Like we're in 2022, people. Like we don't need to be breaking this down anymore.
No, and even like based off of that, I always say white twinks are the standard for bottoms, and white jocks are the beauty standard for tops, and that's how it is. We see it play out, and of course, and I know I want to say this with like, I want to say 99% of QPOCs have experienced some outrageous
I know that's right.
rah-rah on dating apps or being in this scene with people saying like stupid things to them, and I don't know, like I feel like they really have to like watch what they say, and I don't know, with like people of color, I feel like there's always those stereotypes that come before meeting someone.
Right.
I guess there are white stereotypes as well. However, I feel like white people don't experience it to the magnitude that people of color, specifically black and indigenous folks, do. And especially in the gay scene, like, I feel that, like, you know, the no fats femmes Asians, that comes from a place of, like, bad intent.
But my real question is, and maybe you can answer this, but who are you sleeping with? If you say no fat femmes in Asia, who are you sleeping with?
Yeah.
Because I guess only the crust of white. let me bring it back, because this liquor is making me start crazy. But I just get really confused, because it's like, who are you trying to sleep with? And you know what? It makes sense. Now it just clicked. A lot of these people that are sleeping with the same people, that's why the sex is bad. That's why it's never good. Because ethnic people, I'm sorry, but I don't want to be that person right now, but I mean, the sex that I've had is phenomenal with the ethnic people that I've had, because they understand what it takes to do what it needs to do.
I actually hate you.
No, but it's no Shadé, but it's really the fact. Like, if you think about it, if you're only having sex with the same group of people, you're not even branching out.
Yeah.
To different, you don't know any. You
No,
don't.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
that.
Like, there's different walks of life. Like, if
I
you're,
know what you mean.
you know what I mean? And especially like the people in this area, you don't travel. Some of these people don't travel here. Like, people in Manitoba, Winnipeg, y'all don't travel.
I literally said this to you. I was like, I've never felt so unattractive in my life until I came here.
Because they don't travel.
And, like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's just, like...
They don't travel. They
And
literally don't have a perception outside of
I
Winnipeg.
feel like people just have such a conditioning to the way they think, and what they think is a preference. Mm-hmm. And...
Are we going to touch on that?
Yeah, we're getting into the preferences.
Come on, transition.
And, I don't get... And I'll never understand when somebody will sit there and be like, I only specifically like one race, and that's it. That makes you look dumb. Honestly, you look dumb. You can't sit there and say you don't find an entire race attractive. That is absurd to me. And the way people like agree with that fucks with me even more. Cause I'm like, wait, what? People agree with this mentality? I'm so confused, because like I feel like people have preferences. I have a preference, but that doesn't mean I exclude every other race. No, what? Of course not. Like, I feel like there's attractive people in every race, every gender. Like, I feel like I'm a gay man. Mm-hmm. I could acknowledge when a woman is fucking looking like a bad bitch.
I know that's right.
Like, you know, because I'm comfortable enough with my sexuality.
I love women too, honey.
Yeah.
I know that's right. Period.
But what's your take on it?
No, it's funny to me because, and we were having this conversation earlier. Me, as a queer black man, I have been desensitized to the point where I expect this behavior. People have hopped into my DMs saying the wildest stuff. I'm talking about from, I just would love to see a with a and if you could fill in the blank, I want to see a big black. You know what the rest is.
Phallus.
Can we? Let me. We'll continue with the rest of my statement, but let me pause here for a second. why do we need to always slap a color in front of something that you admire? Why can't it just be you admire vaginas? Or sorry, cookies and phalluses. Is that right? Sorry, my eyes say.
Is it phalli?
Phalli.
I don't know.
Whatever it is. Why can't you just say that? Why does it need to be a color? You see what I'm saying? When people start to add color into it,
You don't say, like, let me see your big white phallus.
you never say that. I don't want to see your big white phallus. No one says that. So, me as a person, when you come into my DMs like that, you're crazy. And not only am I looking at you crazy, it's embarrassing because nobody says that. It's the same thing when no one, we still don't know who, but somebody in the royal palace is talking about, is the sun gonna come out black? That was horseshit because no one says to a white family, is your son gonna come out white? No one says that, or what shade of white is your son gonna come out? Pasty or even more pasty?
Or drywall.
No, or drywall, or cremation number 5. No one comes out saying that. No one does that. So it's funny to me, and this is the other thing. As colored people, we laugh and we really shrug off a lot because there's only so much that you can deal with and really take to heart. Because for me, I don't message these people back. I laugh. If you're gonna ask how my big black whatever the thing is, you're gone. Next caller, it's a wrap. Trust me. There's badder bitches in my world, right, than you, sweetheart. So let's not get it twisted at the end of the day. So when we're bringing it back to fetishizing and all that jazz, please, rule number 2, please don't come into my DMs talking about, I've never been with a black guy before. I've never been with an East Indian guy before. I've never been with an indigenous person before. Don't come into someone's DMs like that. Guess what? That comment could have been saved for the draft, sweetheart. You don't need to come in and talking about, I've never been. That's great you've never been. That's fantastic, sweetheart. But you're going to be with today. Maybe, if you're lucky enough, if I want to grace you with that, because you're not, trust me. Let me also touch this. And this is for me too. This is for everybody. You might think you're the nicest things in sliced bread, but there is a better Wonder Bread next beside you. Let's not get it twisted. There is somebody hotter than you on the next street. So let's not get it twisted, right? So when people, I've never been, and oh my gosh, you're this and that. Like, what are you talking about? Stop that. Just say you want to have fun and keep it cute. That's the thing too. A lot of people love to overshare. Why are we oversharing in 2022? If you can Google the next place to get your fried chicken and to lose weight, you can Google how to conduct yourself. Okay? And that's on every little lab that Mary pushed out.
So Chino came to just join the conversation because he gets a little heated when we talk about race too.
Because he knows.
He's that bitch.
Period.
But I wanted to touch on what you were saying with like Grindr and just what people say to you. Like I've gotten oh my god, like I love your skin color.
What does that mean?
Or like I love your like I've gotten exotic. I've gotten
they say you look exotic?
Yeah, what the fuck? I was like, and you look pasty. Maybe you should go somewhere exotic.
Maybe you should take the tanning bed in your schedule.
No, but like it's just crazy because I could never imagine hopping up in a white man's DMs and being like, yo, nice complexion. What? Or let me see your big white phallus. Or like I just can't imagine because I guess I don't see, like I see people as people. Like I don't, it's like why do you have to add the race factor into it? And then those are the same people that will be like, it's not always about race. I was like, but you're the one who brought race into it, so I'm a little confused.
But they don't get it. If you haven't been of a minority, of course it's not about race.
Yeah, it never has been.
It's never going to be that for you because you've never walked down that road.
Yeah, exactly.
So you making a comment like that not only is ignorant, but it shows that you yourself don't have anybody in your corner, anybody in your circle that is a different complexion of yourself than yourself.
Confirmation bias.
Period. And that's just on like there's nothing else to talk about. I could tell you everybody that is a friend of mine not only has a little melanin in their skin, if they don't have melanin in their skin, they have a proper head on their shoulder and they have their brain together. They're not fragile. Okay? They're not fragile. They have it together.
No, seriously.
Not only does that bring us to the next point,
No, but I also feel like every person of color, and like I'm just gonna say this one quick thing.
No, please.
Like, whereas like
I need to catch you.
Caucasian folks don't really like, I don't think they see what they're doing is necessarily wrong because nobody really corrects them because of the groups they hang out in. And also there are other people of color that won't say anything, and I feel like it's just because they can't, like, they don't want to exhaust that energy. And also, like, every single QPOC I've spoken to has a story.
Okay.
Some crazy shit. Mm-hmm. And even some that are friends with majority, like, white people, they all have stories of those same people saying and doing microaggressive things towards them. And again, I've had bad experiences calling people out. But, you know, like, if somebody does call you out, it's a moment of reflection. It's a moment of, like, what can I do? Like, you know? No, but seriously, on a real note, like, even if someone's coming to me, even if, like, let's say, because I really do come for white people all the time, genuinely, one of my friends came up to me that's white and was like, oh, I don't agree with what you said. I'm not going to be a dick. I'd be like, okay, like, this is the place I was coming from. I understand. I acknowledge your feelings. And I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. And let me just explain where my point is coming from. I was like, it's not an attack on you individually. It's just in general. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be all this rah-rah.
No.
And but, you know, I love popping off.
No, but that's the thing too. Like, I just feel like that what people don't understand, there's a difference between your intent and your impact, right? And I learned that even though your intent might have been to be pure, or even though your intent, and again, if like I said, and like we've said, if you're Caucasian, you might not know the struggle that minority people go through.
Which does not, sorry to cut you off, but this is important, which does not take away from any experiences that they've been through. I feel like that's where the misconception is. When race is brought up, they think, oh, but I've been through. Nobody's minimizing what you're going through. It's not about you right now, honey. Like, just sit down.
And this is the other thing too. Sorry, now that you brought that up, let me touch on this. If me as a black guy, right, okay, I'm pretty dark. Let's not beat around the bush. If I'm telling you my experience and you're another minority, but you visibly are white, please, I don't want to hear what your ancestors went through. I don't want to hear what discrimination you've gone through. I don't want to hear it. Maybe I'm a dick. I don't care. Because guess what? At the end of the day, when both of you and I walk into the room, there's a difference. My color of my skin is different than yours. You might be a minority, but at the end of the day, and this is a little tool for y'all's tool belt, we gather a perception and an idea of somebody within 4 point whatever milliseconds before our brain can even really process what we're going through, right? That's a fact. That's statistics, okay?
Yep.
So in that time, when we both walk into a room, somebody is already favoring somebody that is a different skin color than mine, which is, again, fairer and more lighter than myself. So please, people of minority, and we're going to get into the colorism of the black community too, because light-skinned people, I'm coming for your asses right now too. Yes, this liquor is talking to me, but I'm coming for you too. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, dark-skinned people get it worse.
Oh, 1,000%.
We get it worse. We'll go to slave days too. Who was working in the house? It wasn't me. If I was a slave back then, let me tell you something. I would not be working in the house. My ass would be in the field sweating. Okay? Light-skinned people were at different levels because of the features of their face and the lightness of their skin. They could get to what white was classified to be the perfection level, right? So there's colorism as well in the black community. That's
and
a
in
fact.
And in the brown
community. There's colorism and people don't want to talk about it. But we're talking about it today. I know we didn't touch this is queer sex or gay sex, but we're talking about it now. Okay? That's the problem. A lot of people like to get amnesia and like to drink delusion water on the daily, but no. If you are a minority and you were visibly white, if our profiles are both on Grindr, who do you think is gonna get hit up more? And the other thing I hate, oh my god. The other thing I hate, please, people, I beg. Don't come into my DMs talking about, I don't know if I can handle a big phallus, and I don't know if I could do. Then why are you messaging me?
Attention.
Okay, but guess what? You can seek attention from playtime. You can seek attention from your parents. You can seek attention.
No,
from
that's why they didn't get enough attention from their parents.
Ooh.
They weren't hugged enough.
Oh.
Sorry. I said what I said, and I meant what I said,
and that's on period. No, but factual though. Like clearly they weren't hugged enough, because at the end of the day, a bad bitch knows that we get it popping regardless. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like it really doesn't matter. For both of us, skin color or sexual. Sexual orientation is different because I know you're just strictly gay. But for me, I'm pansexual. So sexual orientation, and explaining pansexuality to people,
that's a whole different topic.
That's a whole different topic. So we'll just keep it cute and say bisexual, I guess you can say. So that's just.
But I also, like, one thing I do want to point out, and I do want to say is, with earlier you're mentioning, like, you know, like colorism and the color of your skin, obviously. I feel like people, white gays specifically, because they're gay, I feel like they use that any moment they can, and I feel like they forget that again, like, their sexual orientation, like, when you meet someone, that's not the first thing they know. It's your skin color precedes that, and I feel like they forget that a lot, whereas, like, when I walk into a room, or specifically you walk in, I've experienced so much, and again, I'm lighter skin, so then I can't even imagine how much you've experienced, and that's why I get so triggered whenever I see, you know, people acting a fool. They act a damn fool, and I'm sick of it, and I'm like, again, this is specifically a message to white gays, and the ones that are woke will understand, and the ones that aren't, and if you feel some type of way, maybe you should educate yourself a little more. You, like, as an individual, you can walk into rooms that were built for you.
Period.
That were designed for you.
Yeah.
And nobody turns a blind eye. You know how many times I've walked into rooms where my intelligence has been questioned, or my language has been questioned,
right,
or the amount of money you have has been questioned.
Okay.
So many times.
If the designer that you wear is fake, right?
Again, like, I don't agree with any of it, and you can't, like, obviously being someone queer, those are your own experiences in itself, but when we're talking about race, we are talking about race. We aren't talking about queerness. When we are talking about queerness, yes, we talk about race because they overlap.
Yes.
And because people think, and even I remember telling one of my cousins about the racism in the queer community, and her mind was blown, because she was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "You'd be surprised. You'd be fucking surprised."
And that's the thing, people don't get it until they hear these stories. For example, and I've lost count how many times this happened.
Just get into it. We're spilling all the tea. This is going to be 2 episodes. Don't even worry.
Not 2 episodes. But no, when I'm doing what I need to do, okay? And someone says to me, "Oh, wow." Like, when I meet them for the first time, "Oh, wow, you smell really good for a black guy."
Or you're good looking for a brown guy.
You're good looking for a brown guy. Oh, you can speak English very well. Okay, you know what?
When I had a turban, oh god.
Oh my god. Okay, you know what?
Worst.
Let me tell you something. This is what I don't get. And maybe I'm missing the barrier. If someone stinks, someone stinks. It doesn't matter about your skin color.
Exactly.
If you reek, you just have bad hygiene. So I'm not gonna say to people, "Oh, you smell good for a white person." No,
what?
You just, if you stink, you stink. If you smell good, you smell good.
Period.
So, number one, to be completely honest, and maybe I'm just a little bit more intact with myself, but I would probably keep a comment like that to myself because I can read the room pretty well. Mm-hmm. But to say to somebody, "Oh, you smell good for a black person," not only is that a backhanded compliment, everything's done from that moment.
Like,
it's shut her down. Shut her down.
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, I just don't get people. I'm like, why do you need to do all that? Like, if you guys could see the messages that Div and I get,
or have gotten, like, it is...
Your heads would spin. You'd be the tilt-a-whirl, man. You'd throw up.
I've told people stories, and they think I'm lying. I was like, I wish I could make this up. Like, I really wish I could. And you see it all the time, and I see... Often people that fall victim to it are ones like people of color that have not really come out of their skin, because I remember I used to let a lot of racism slide to fit in, and now I'm like, no, this is not gonna happen. He pulled out the Grindr messages.
I pulled I'm being messy tonight because I'm gonna pull out the receipts tonight. So there's an individual that has been messaging me on Grindr since October 16th of 2021. We are in January 2022. Ask me if I have messaged back. No, because I'm that bitch. That's not the point. The point is, the other day, I'm at work with my career and my job, doing what I do best, which is making money. And I see this message, as I'm checking my phone at lunch, I see this message. All right, so the video went a little bit longer than anticipated, but it's cute because you all are gonna get a 2-part video of queer sex or gay sex. Oh God! So if you are wanting to know a little bit more of what we are diving into with the juiciness and the Shadé,
and the end of your story,
the end of my story, then just wait a couple more days to get the next video. But until then,
subscribe and watch all the other videos.
Yes, and keep watching our profiles because we're gonna let you know when the next video is in. But until then, bye.
Bye.